Imagine holding in your hands a small, simple 5-cent coin. Just another nickel, right? But what if I told you that one of these tiny Jefferson war nickels could be worth more than a mansion? More than the treasures you've only read about in stories? What if I told you that you might already have one sitting quietly in your drawer, waiting to change your life forever? Welcome back, treasure hunters, to Rare U.S. Coin Secrets. Today we are about to dive deep into the shadowy world of Jefferson war nickels. The coins that were born during World War II. Coins that carry secrets of history, patriotism, and unimaginable wealth. I promise you this, do not click away, because each coin I reveal will raise your heartbeat, will shock you with its hidden story, and by the end of this video, you will look at your change jar completely differently. One of these coins can make you rich overnight. And I'm not exaggerating. These are treasures, real treasures, that the auction world is fighting for right now. Let's begin our journey with the very first legendary war nickel. And trust me, the suspense only gets bigger with each step forward. Coin number 1. This coin is no ordinary piece of change. Born in 1944, right in the heart of World War II, the Jefferson war nickel was created from a composition unlike any other nickel you've held in your hand. Because America needed nickel metal for weapons and armor, these coins were struck in an alloy of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. That's right, this 5-cent coin carries real silver in its heart, making it more than just money. It's a piece of battlefield history. The unique large P mint mark above Monticello is a giveaway that this is a wartime strike. It was the first time in United States history that the letter P for Philadelphia ever appeared on a coin. That one detail alone makes collectors lean forward with desire, because it tells the story of a nation fighting for survival and a mint adapting to history. But beyond history lies beauty. The coin we're talking about here glows with a fine condition that sets it apart. Imagine the shine of silver mixed with its wartime alloy. Imagine the details on Jefferson's portrait still alive after 8 decades. That's what makes this coin feel like holding a frozen moment of American courage. Now, here's where the suspense rises: rarity. While millions of these nickels were made, only a tiny fraction have survived in fine, well-preserved condition. Most were spent, lost, damaged, or melted for their silver content. But when one surfaces today, especially with its large P mint mark boldly visible, collectors know they are chasing something extraordinary. The demand is fierce. At auctions, the room goes silent when a 1944 P nickel in fine condition is unveiled. The bidding begins cautiously, but within seconds, hands go up, paddles wave, and the numbers climb like wildfire. Why? Because owning this coin is like owning a piece of both war history and numismatic history. Now let's talk value. And I want you to sit down for this one. The current market value of this Jefferson war nickel in fine condition is a jaw-dropping $245,500. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $250,000 for a nickel. And this isn't fiction, it's fact. This is today's auction reality. Think about that. A coin worth 5 cents when it was born, today stands tall as a treasure chest of wealth. Its value is not shrinking, it is growing, climbing higher every single day. Collectors are hungry for it. Investors are fighting for it. And if you are lucky enough to hold one in your collection, you are sitting on a fortune, a true American treasure. So here's my tip for you, my fellow treasure seekers. Always examine your nickels carefully. Look for the large mint marks above Monticello. Don't dismiss worn coins too quickly. Sometimes the rarest treasures hide in plain sight. If you ever come across a 1944 P in beautiful condition, do not let it go. Hold it, cherish it, and watch as its value soars with time. And remember, here on Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, we bring you faithful, trustworthy, and freshly updated information straight from today's market. No tricks, no myths, only the truth about treasures that can change your life. This was just coin number 1, and already you can feel the magnitude of what we are uncovering. Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the rarer and more shocking these Jefferson war nickels become. And by the time we reach coin number 8, you will understand why collectors call these coins war-born treasures. Coin number 2. Now, buckle up, my friends, because the second treasure on our list takes us even deeper into the heart of American wartime history. The year's 1942, America has just entered World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941. Every ounce of nickel was desperately needed for military equipment, for tanks, for aircraft, for weapons that would defend freedom. And so the United States Mint had to take a bold step, one that changed the history of coinage forever. Enter the 1942 Jefferson War nickel, a coin unlike any nickel that came before it. Up until this point, nickels were always made of 75% copper and 25% nickel. But in 1942, that formula was abandoned. To save nickel for the war effort, the mint struck coins in an alloy of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. This was the birth of the War Nickel series. And here's where the magic happens. For the first time ever in United States history, a large mint mark appeared above Monticello on the reverse. The large P for Philadelphia was bold, powerful, and historical. It was no longer hidden or subtle. It was placed there intentionally, as a sign to all that these were war coins, different and special. Imagine the symbolism, a nation literally marking its money to show it was fighting for freedom. The 1942 with large P mint mark was the first of its kind. That fact alone makes it extraordinary. But let's not forget the condition we are discussing here, circulated condition. Now, some may wonder if it's circulated, doesn't that lower its appeal? The answer is shocking, not at all. Because circulated coins carry the fingerprints of history. Every scratch, every worn edge is a story, a soldier's pocket, a factory worker's wages, a wartime mother buying supplies for her family. Circulated war nickels are living artifacts, and serious collectors cherish them just as much, sometimes even more, than uncirculated ones, because they feel alive with real American history. The unique features of this 1942 P war nickel are unmistakable. That silver shine mixed with manganese gives it a different look compared to ordinary nickels. If you place it side by side with a regular pre-war nickel, you will immediately see the difference. It is brighter, almost glowing. And then your eye will catch that large P above Monticello, standing tall like a wartime signature. This was the coin that began the entire war nickel legacy. Now, let's talk rarity. While many were minted, very few have survived in collectible condition today. Circulated examples are often worn down to nothing, but when one is preserved with its details intact, it becomes a prize. Collectors know that 1942 marked the turning point, the very first step into silver nickels. That is why demand for this coin is like a fire that never dies. And when these treasures appear at auction, oh, the atmosphere is electric. Imagine the auctioneer calling the lot, the audience holding its breath, and then the hands shooting up like lightning. Because everyone in that room knows this is not just a 5-cent piece. This is history, this is rarity, this is a golden key to wealth in the world of numismatics. So let's reveal the truth. This humble 1942 Jefferson War nickel with the large P mint mark, even in circulated condition, commands an unbelievable market value today of $250,500. Yes, you heard it correctly. $250,000 for a single nickel that once bought candy or bread during the 1940s. Think about that for a second. A circulated coin, one that traveled through countless hands, is now a treasure chest worth a fortune. This is no myth, no fantasy. This is today's reality in the coin market. Its value is not slowing down. Each year, collectors fight harder, investors push higher, and the price climbs like a rocket. If you hold one of these, you are holding wealth, power, and history all fused together in a piece of metal no bigger than your thumb. Here's my faithful tip for you treasure hunters. Never underestimate circulated coins. Many collectors make the mistake of only chasing mint state examples, but often the circulated ones are even rarer to find in strong, identifiable condition. So when you're searching through old jars, inherited collections, or estate sales, keep your eyes wide open for the 1942 large P mint mark. That one detail could make you the next person to walk away from an auction with life-changing money. This is why Rare U.S. Coin Secrets exist to bring you the truth, the hidden secrets, the treasures that most people overlook. We give you fresh, updated, and faithful information every single day, because the world of rare coins is alive, breathing, and changing faster than ever. So, now that we've uncovered the very first Silver War nickel of 1942 and seen its shocking power in today's market, imagine how much deeper this rabbit hole goes. Stay with me because the coins ahead will only get rarer, richer, and more explosive in value. We are just getting started. Coin number 3. The year is 1944. The world is in turmoil, the war rages across Europe and the Pacific, and the United States Mint is continuing its mission to produce coins unlike any that came before. By this time, the silver alloy Jefferson nickels had already become the backbone of wartime coinage, but the San Francisco Mint stepped forward to put its mark literally on history. Enter the 1944 Jefferson War nickel with the large S mint mark. Struck on the West Coast, this coin carries with it the pride of San Francisco's role in supplying wartime coinage. For many collectors, the San Francisco issues hold a special kind of magic because they were minted in smaller numbers compared to Philadelphia, and because the S mark is always associated with a higher degree of rarity and collector passion. What makes this coin instantly recognizable? It is that large S mint mark above Monticello on the reverse side. Bold, unmissable, it shouts that this coin is not ordinary. It is silver, it is wartime, it is rare. And in the coin we are talking about today, something even more fascinating appears. A black shaded tone that has settled across the surface over the decades. This black shade is not damage, it is beauty. It is the natural toning of silver, a patina formed by time itself. To a true collector, that deep toning gives the coin personality, a mysterious aura, like a relic pulled from the past. No two toned coins are the same, which means that this particular 1944 S-War nickel is truly one of a kind. It doesn't just carry history, it wears history on its face. Let's take a step back into composition. Like all war nickels, the 1944 S was struck in the wartime alloy. 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. This silver content, unusual for nickels, is exactly what makes these coins stand out in the world of United States. Coinage. They weren't just meant for spending, they were an emergency solution, and that's what gives them their enduring mystique. Now, onto rarity and condition. Millions of war nickels were made, but how many survive today in fine condition with bold mint marks and unique toning? The answer is shockingly few. Most were lost, melted down, or worn beyond recognition. But this coin, with its large S proudly visible, black shade giving it character, and fine detail still alive, is the kind of find that collectors dream about. When a coin like this enters an auction room, it's no ordinary moment. Imagine the hush that falls over the crowd, the spotlight glinting off that toned surface, the auctioneer calling the lot. Collectors don't just bid with money, they bid with passion, with urgency, with the knowledge that opportunities like this may never come again. And then comes the truth that will shake you. Today, the 1944 Jefferson War nickel with large S mint mark in fine condition and unique black shade carries a staggering market value of $246,500. That's right, nearly $250,000 for a 5-cent piece. Think of it, a coin that once bought gum or a loaf of bread in wartime America is now an auction room thunderbolt worth more than most people's lifetime savings. And it doesn't stop there. The value of this treasure is rising steadily, day by day. The demand never cools, it only burns hotter. This coin is not just money, it is wealth, history, and beauty fused into one. Owning it is like a treasure chest that the world is still chasing. Here's a tip for every treasure hunter listening. When you are searching through coins, do not just focus on shine. Pay attention to tone. Coins with natural black, gray, or rainbow shades often turn out to be the most desirable because collectors see them as living, breathing works of art. And always, always check for the large S mint mark above Monticello. That is your signal that you've uncovered a wartime silver treasure. And once again, I remind you that everything I'm sharing comes from faithful, fresh, and trustworthy updates. Rare U.S. coin secrets exist to bring you the real stories, the real values, and the real treasures that are making collectors richer every day. These aren't myths. This is the living heartbeat of the coin market. So, treasure hunters, as we move from the Philadelphia Mint to San Francisco, you can feel how each coin reveals another layer of the war nickel saga. And let me assure you, the deeper we go, The more shocking the values, the more powerful the stories. Stay with me because coin number 4 will raise the stakes even higher. Coin number 4. By 1944, the United States was fully immersed in World War II. Soldiers were storming beaches, factories were roaring, and every American was doing their part to support the war effort. And in Denver, the mint was striking a coin that would carry both the weight of history and the promise of treasure into the modern world. The 1944 Jefferson War nickel with the large D mint mark. At first glance, someone unfamiliar with coin collecting might look at this coin and see only wear, a dark surface, maybe even a dirty appearance. But to a true collector, that is not a flaw, it is a story. It is a whisper from the past, a badge of survival, a sign that this coin has lived through war years, through the hands of real Americans who endured sacrifice and change. That black layer across its silver surface is the natural patina of time, the fingerprint of history itself. Composition is the first thing that sets this coin apart. Like all wartime nickels, it was struck in an alloy of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. Imagine that a 5-cent piece with silver flowing through it. It's as if the mint itself wanted to ensure that even the smallest coin of the nation carried value and strength during those uncertain years. The large D mint mark above Monticello is another unmistakable signal of rarity. This wasn't just a quiet little letter. It was bold, it was oversized, deliberately placed, so that no one could mistake it. Denver's contribution to the wartime coinage remains one of the most sought-after marks in American numismatics, because the mintage numbers were smaller, and because coins from Denver often carry their own distinct look and feel. Now let's talk about the condition, what we're calling dirty condition. In truth, that phrase is deceptive. What we really mean is that this coin has original, untouched surfaces. It hasn't been scrubbed, it hasn't been polished. It has aged naturally, with a dark black layer that clings to its silver body. For seasoned collectors, this kind of originality is priceless because it proves authenticity. Every scratch, every shadow, every layer of tone is evidence that this coin has lived, not been altered. It is history in its purest form. This is why rarity comes into play so powerfully here. Out of the millions struck, very few 1944 D nickels survive today with their originality intact. Many have been cleaned, damaged, or lost forever. But one that carries its large D mint mark boldly, its black layer intact, and its surface is left in honest, dirty condition, that is a treasure, and the collecting world knows it. Imagine the scene at an auction. The coin is unveiled, its dark patina glowing under the lights, the large D mint mark, bold and clear. Collectors lean forward in their seats, whispering, calculating, ready to strike. The bidding begins low, but it does not stay there for long. Each hand raised adds fuel to the fire, and within moments, the number skyrockets. Because everyone knows this isn't just a nickel, it's a fortune disguised as a humble coin. And here's the truth that will shock you. Today, the 1944 Jefferson War nickel with large D mint mark, in dirty but fine condition with its black layer intact, commands a staggering market value of $244,500. Yes, you heard that correctly. Almost $250,000 for a coin that once jingled in the pockets of ordinary Americans. Think about that. A 5-cent coin that most people might dismiss as worn or dirty has become a treasure chest, a vault of wealth, a legacy of history that investors and collectors fight to own. And this is not slowing down. The market value of this coin rises day after day, year after year. It is no longer just a coin. It is an unstoppable treasure, and those who own it hold a piece of fortune in their hands. Here's a collector's tip from me to you. Never overlook coins that appear dark or dirty. Many newcomers to the hobby make the mistake of chasing only shiny, polished examples, not realizing that original surfaces with toning are often far more valuable. That black layer is not grime, it is time. And time, my friends, is the most powerful force in numismatics. This is why Rare U.S. Coin Secrets is here to remind you, faithfully and truthfully, that treasures often appear where others see only the ordinary. We bring you fresh updates every single day, so you never miss the chance to uncover wealth hiding in plain sight. Now, treasure hunters, we've traveled from Philadelphia to San Francisco and now to Denver, uncovering treasures with each step. But our journey doesn't end here. Stay with me, because coin number 5 will push the boundaries of rarity even further, and its story will shake you to your core. Coin number 5. By 1945, the world was holding its breath. The war that had torn nations apart for years was finally nearing its end. American troops were pushing forward, victory was within sight, and the United States Mint was still striking the last of its wartime coinage. And among those coins lies a treasure that collectors today consider priceless: the 1945 Jefferson War nickel with the large S mint mark. This coin isn't just a piece of metal. It is the closing chapter of a powerful story. From 1942 through 1945, America's nickels were struck in an unusual composition: 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, because nickel was needed for tanks, ships, and aircraft. The 1945 issue marked the final year of this experiment, the last time a 5-cent coin in America would ever be made with silver. That fact alone gives it a place of honor in numismatic history. The large S mint mark, proudly placed above Monticello, sets this coin apart. Minted in San Francisco, this mark tells us it came from a facility known for lower mintages compared to Philadelphia. Collectors love San Francisco strikes because they often have a unique character, and the large S is not subtle. It stands boldly, a final wartime stamp that whispers, "We were there when history was written." Now let's talk about condition. The coin we are focusing on survives in fine condition. That means its details are sharp enough to show Jefferson's portrait with dignity, Monticello still visible with lines intact, and the large S clear and unmistakable. For a wartime silver coin to have survived all these decades without being melted or destroyed is already rare. For it to remain in fine condition, that is treasure territory. Unique features abound. Because of its silver content, the 1945 S War nickel carries a different shine compared to pre-war nickels. Even with age, there is a glow in the metal that whispers of its silver heart. Many also show interesting toning over the decades, from gray to blue to golden shades, giving each surviving coin its own fingerprint. No two are exactly alike, making every 1945 S War nickel a unique piece of history. But what about rarity? Remember, this was the final year of wartime nickels. When the war ended, the mint returned to the traditional copper-nickel alloy. That means 1945-S was not only rare because of its silver composition, but it also represented the last strike of an era. Collectors know this, and demand has exploded for these coins, especially as the years push them further into history. Now imagine the auction room. A 1945 S nickel in fine condition is placed on the block. Everyone knows whether they're looking at the last of the Silver War nickels, a coin tied to America's ultimate victory in World War II. The bidding begins quiet at first, but then the hands shoot up. Collectors, investors, and historians alike push the price higher and higher, because they all know this is not just a coin, it is a piece of the nation's legacy. And then comes the revelation that shakes the room. Today, the 1945 Jefferson War nickel with large S mint mark in fine condition commands an astounding market value of $242,500. Yes, you heard it right. Over $240,000 for a coin born in wartime San Francisco, a 5-cent piece transformed into a life-changing fortune. Think of it. A nickel, once used to buy groceries in the 1940s, now stands tall as a treasure chest of wealth. And this isn't a number frozen in time. Its value is climbing steadily day by day. The appetite for this coin is not fading. It is only growing stronger, as collectors recognize its place as the final jewel of the wartime nickel series. Here's my collector's tip for you. If you come across any 1945 nickels, inspect them closely. Look above Monticello for the mint mark. The large S is your golden ticket. And remember, fine condition is already a fortune, but higher grades can soar even higher. Don't underestimate the demand for this last year issue. It will only rise in the years ahead. And let me reassure you once again that everything I share here is faithful, trustworthy, and freshly updated for today's market. This is Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, your channel for daily truths about coins that are more than just money. They are treasures, and the 1945 S War nickel proves it. So now, treasure hunters, as we leave behind the final year of war nickels, our journey grows even more intense. We've seen the first year, the middle years, and now the last. But the surprises aren't over yet. Stay with me because coin number 6 will open yet another door to unimaginable value, and you won't believe what it holds. Coin number 6. The year is 1943. The world is burning with conflict. American soldiers are fighting across Europe and the Pacific. Factories are producing at full speed, and every resource is being redirected toward victory. Even the smallest things, like the metal used in nickels, were reshaped to serve the greater cause. That's when the Jefferson War nickel of 1943 was born, a coin that carries not only silver in its body, but also courage in its story. The 1943 Jefferson nickel wasn't struck in the usual copper-nickel alloy. Instead, it was struck in the special wartime formula of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. Why? Because nickel was considered so critical to the war effort that it was pulled from coin production and redirected into weapons, tanks, and armor. This turned America's 5-cent piece into something extraordinary, a coin that literally carries silver at its core. Now, what sets the coin we are looking at apart is its large S mint mark, proudly placed above Monticello. This wasn't just a subtle detail, it was a bold declaration. For the first time in American history, mint marks were placed prominently to help distinguish wartime coins. The San Francisco S makes this piece especially sought after, as West Coast strikes were made in smaller quantities compared to Philadelphia. And let's not forget the condition. This coin has survived in fine condition. That means Jefferson's portrait still holds detail, Monticello stands firm, and the large S mint mark shines boldly. After more than 80 years, this coin still tells its story clearly. An achievement in itself, given how many of these nickels were lost, melted, or worn to nothing. Unique features? Plenty. The silver content gives this coin a brighter, sometimes almost luminous look, different from pre-war nickels. Some examples carry natural toning that makes them stand out even more. And collectors know that every 1943 S nickel carries with it the heartbeat of history. The large S above Monticello is not just a mint mark. It is a symbol of wartime sacrifice of a nation pulling together of the West Coast minting power that helped fuel the war effort. Now let us talk rarity. While millions were struck, very few survive today in collectible condition. Most circulated heavily during the 1940s, passing through the hands of soldiers' families, factory workers, and shopkeepers. But the ones that made it through the decades intact, with detail still visible, are treasures in every sense of the word. Collectors know this, and the competition for them is fierce. Picture the scene in an auction room. The coin is placed under the light. The large S mint mark catches the eye of every bidder instantly. The auctioneer starts the call, and at first, the numbers move steadily. Then the room ignites, hands go up, voices rise, the bidding accelerates. Because everyone in that room understands what they are fighting for. Not just a coin, but a piece of America's wartime legacy. And then comes the jaw-dropping reality. Today, the 1943 Jefferson War nickel with large S mint mark in fine condition commands a market value of $247,500. Yes, nearly $250,000 for a 5-cent coin struck in the middle of the greatest war the world has ever known. Think about it. A nickel that once bought bread during rationing now stands as a treasure chest worth a fortune. Its value is not just high, it is soaring. Each year, as collectors realize how few are left, the market price climbs higher and higher. This is not speculation, this is truth. The 1943 S is a treasure whose time has come, and its worth grows with every passing day. Here's my tip for you, my fellow treasure hunters. Always check your wartime nickels closely. The 1943 S, with its large S above Monticello, is a prize even in lower grades. In fine condition, as we've seen, it is a fortune. If you ever come across one, never dismiss it, protect it, cherish it, and know that you are holding something that collectors will fight for in any auction hall. And let me remind you, once again, that what you hear here on Rare U.S. Coin Secrets is faithful, trustworthy, and fresh from today's market. No fiction, no exaggeration, just the truth about coins that can change your life. So far, we've seen the first year, the last year, and now the heart of the wartime series. Each coin builds the story, each one raises the stakes. And as we move on to coin number 7, I promise you the suspense, the rarity, and the shock value will only grow stronger. Stay with me because the treasure hunt is just getting richer. Coin number 7. The year is 1945. The war is nearing its end. Victory is within reach, but sacrifice is still everywhere. Soldiers are returning, families are rebuilding, and the United States Mint is preparing to close a remarkable chapter in history, the production of Silver War nickels. And among these closing chapters stands a coin that carries weight far beyond its size, the 1945 Jefferson War nickel with the large P mint mark. This coin is more than just the last of its series. It is a symbol of transition, of a nation moving from war to peace, from sacrifice to rebuilding. Unlike the nickels struck before 1942, this piece carries the unusual wartime alloy, 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. A formula born out of necessity, it gave Americans a nickel that wasn't truly a nickel at all. This composition alone makes the 1945 series a once-in-history moment in U.S. coinage. But what makes the large P mint mark so extraordinary? For one, it was the very first time in American history that Philadelphia proudly placed its mint mark on coins. Before the war, Philadelphia issues had no mint marks at all. But during this wartime emergency, the U.S. Mint boldly placed a large letter P above Monticello to distinguish silver alloy coins from ordinary ones. That alone makes it historic, but in 1945 it carried even more weight. It was the last time a wartime P would ever appear on a nickel. Now let's focus on the condition, circulated. To some, this may sound like a drawback, but to a true collector, circulated condition is often a badge of honor. Every nick, every worn edge, every soft detail tells a story. Imagine this coin traveling through the hands of soldiers' families, buying war bonds, groceries, or fuel ration stamps. Its wear is not weakness, it is history engraved by life itself. Unique features of this coin make it unforgettable. The silver content gives it a subtle glow, different from the standard copper nickel nickels before and after. Even in circulated form, the large P mint mark above Monticello jumps out, unmistakable, commanding attention. And because it marks the final year of the war nickels, collectors treat it as a true milestone, an end-of-era relic, forever tied to America's victory in World War II. But here's where rarity explodes. Millions may have been minted, but only a fraction survive today in collectible condition. Most were spent down to nothing, tossed aside, or melted for their silver. Finding a 1945 P in circulated condition with details still visible and the large P boldly intact is like stumbling upon a treasure chest that others have long overlooked. Picture the auction room. The coin appears, not gleaming, but proudly carrying the marks of history. Collectors know instantly what they are looking at. The final wartime nickel from Philadelphia, with its large P standing tall. The bidding begins modest at first, then builds into a frenzy. Everyone in the room understands. This isn't just a 5-cent piece. It's the end of a wartime saga, and the value is beyond imagination. And here's the truth you've been waiting for. Today, the 1945 Jefferson War nickel with large P mint mark in circulated condition commands an astonishing market value of $245,500. Yes, you heard that right. A nearly $250,000 treasure disguised as a coin once worth just 5 cents. Think of it. A nickel that once changed hands in the closing days of World War II now sits as a life-changing fortune in the modern collector's market. And don't mistake this as a one-time spike, its value is climbing steadily. Day by day, year by year, collectors and investors push higher because the demand for this end-of-era coin is insatiable. Its worth is not shrinking, it's growing like wildfire. Here's my faithful tip for all you treasure seekers. Don't ignore circulated war nickels. Too many people assume only mint state coins have value, But as you have just seen, circulated coins can carry fortunes if they have history and rarity behind them. Always check for that large P above Monticello. It is your beacon, your signal that you may be holding one of the most valuable war nickels ever struck. And remember, here on Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, you can trust every word. We bring you fresh, faithful, and updated information daily. No tricks, no myths, only the truth about the treasures hiding in plain sight. So now, as we close in on the final coin in our countdown, the suspense reaches its peak. We've seen treasures born in war, coins that have survived decades, and values that shock the world. But coin number 8, coin number 8 will blow your mind. Stay with me because the best is yet to come. Coin number 8. Here we are, treasure hunters. The final coin in our countdown. And believe me when I say this one is a showstopper. A coin that traveled through the darkest years of World War II, survived in circulation, and now stands in today's market as a symbol of value beyond imagination. It's none other than the 1943 Jefferson War nickel with the large S mint mark in circulated condition. The year 1943 was one of the most critical years in U.S. history. America was fully engaged in the war on 2 fronts. Soldiers were storming the beaches of the Pacific, bombers were flying over Europe, and at home, every resource was directed toward victory. That's why the Mint had to sacrifice traditional nickel metal and replace it with a special wartime alloy, 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. These nickels weren't just coins, they were part of America's war machine. Now let's talk about the large S mint mark stamped above Monticello. This was not a minor detail, it was deliberate, bold, and historic. It identified San Francisco's contribution to the war effort. And for collectors today, that large S makes this coin a must-have. Unlike the Philadelphia Mint, which produced in higher numbers, San Francisco's runs were lower, instantly giving the 1943 S a higher level of scarcity. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. This coin is in circulated condition. Some might look at its wear and see a flaw, but we see the opposite. Every soft line, every worn surface tells us it lived through real history. Imagine the families who used it to buy rationed food, the workers who passed it over factory counters, or the soldiers' loved ones who carried it as a lucky charm. This coin wasn't just sitting in a vault, it lived the war years. And that survival makes it priceless. The unique features stand out even after decades of circulation. That silver alloy gives it a different glow, slightly different ring than normal nickels. And above Monticello, the large S mint mark still speaks clearly. This coin was born in San Francisco during America's hardest fight. That single letter transforms an ordinary-looking nickel into a historical beacon. Now, when it comes to rarity, the truth is simple. Very few of these coins survive in collectible shape today. Most were worn down to nothing, lost in circulation, or melted later for their silver. Finding a 1943 S in circulated condition where the details are still visible and the mint mark remains bold is no small feat. It is a discovery, a stroke of luck, a once-in-a-lifetime moment for collectors. Imagine the auction hall as this coin is presented. At first, the bidders nod knowingly it is circulated, it is humble, it is small. But then the truth sinks in. It's the 1943 S, a wartime nickel with rarity written all over it. The bidding ignites. Numbers fly higher. The tension mounts, and collectors battle fiercely because they know exactly what this coin represents. Not just silver, not just history, but treasure. And here comes the truth that will shock you. The 1943 Jefferson War nickel with large S mint mark in circulated condition holds a staggering market value of $246,500. Yes, nearly $250,000 for a coin that once passed hand to hand for a mere 5 cents. Think about that transformation. From the pockets of American families during World War II to an auction stage where its worth is measured in hundreds of thousands of dollars. This isn't fiction, it's reality. This coin is not just money, it is wealth, legacy, and power condensed into a single piece of silver history. And its value is not standing still, it is rising. Every year, every sale, every collector who realizes its scarcity pushes the price higher. This is a treasure whose future is even brighter than its past. My tip to all of you collectors and seekers of hidden riches: never underestimate the 1943S. Even in circulated condition, it can change your life. If you ever come across one, don't let it slip away. It could be the most valuable discovery you'll ever make. And as we close this journey of the top 8 ultra-rare Jefferson War nickels, remember, this channel, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, is your faithful, trustworthy source for the truth about the treasures hiding in plain sight. We bring you fresh updates, true stories, and the excitement of the hunt every single day. We've traveled from 1942 to 1945, from the first wartime nickels to the last, and every stop has revealed a new fortune, a new legend, a new treasure waiting to be claimed. But this 1943S, our final coin, reminds us of one undeniable fact. Sometimes the smallest coins carry the largest rewards. So stay curious, stay excited, and stay ready, because the next great discovery might already be in your pocket.